What's the most selfish thing you've ever witnessed? I was tutoring this kid Dylan for his SATs. His single dad was paying me $50 an hour, way more than I usually charged, because Dylan was failing everything and needed to get into college. During our initial meeting, Dylan's dad showed up with a manila folder full of Dylan's report cards, teacher notes, and a handwritten timeline of every tutoring service they tried. Dylan slouched in the corner, earbuds in, completely ignoring us. His dad explained that Dylan had already burned through 4 tutors in 6 months. Each one quit. The early sessions were painful. Dylan would show up 20 minutes late with fast food, eat during our hour, and half-heartedly work through maybe 3 practice problems. When I'd explain concepts, he'd interrupt with stories about streamers who dropped out and became millionaires. After 2 weeks, I tried talking to his dad about Dylan's attitude. That's when I learned the full picture. His dad had been working double shifts for 8 months straight, saving every extra dollar for college prep. He'd already spent $3,000 on other tutors, test prep books, and practice exams. Things got worse in week 3. Dylan started bringing friends to sessions, treating our time like a social hangout. When I told him to focus, he'd say his dad was forcing him to do this, and he never asked for a tutor. I called his dad to discuss boundaries. He apologized profusely and promised to talk to Dylan. The next day, Dylan showed up angry, saying I was a snitch who got him in trouble with his psycho dad. That's when Dylan revealed his dad had grounded him from gaming until his practice scores improved. Dylan was furious because he'd planned to stream that weekend and potentially make money from donations. I started noticing things during our sessions. Dylan would complain about being hungry, but when I suggested he eat before coming, he'd say there wasn't much food at home. He'd mention his dad falling asleep at the dinner table or coming home after Dylan was already in bed. Week 4 brought the breaking point. Dylan showed up in new designer sneakers that cost more than most people make in a week. When I asked about them, he casually mentioned his dad bought them as motivation for improving his practice scores. But Dylan's scores weren't improving. If anything, they were getting worse because he'd started actively sabotaging sessions. He'd give obviously wrong answers, claim he forgot everything we'd covered, and spend entire sessions on his phone. I realized Dylan was trying to prove that tutoring was pointless, so his dad would give up and stop pushing him toward college. The next session, Dylan didn't show up at all. His dad called me frantically, apologizing and explaining that Dylan had decided to skip because his favorite streamer was doing a special stream. He promised to pay me for the missed session anyway. That's when I decided to arrive early the following week to talk to his dad directly. I parked across the street and watched Dylan's dad come home from his shift. I knocked on their door 30 minutes before our scheduled session. Dylan's dad answered, still in his work clothes, looking surprised to see me early. I could see him counting out my payment from a small stack of bills on the kitchen counter. Next to the money was a grocery list with items crossed out. Dylan wandered out of his room, annoyed that I was early, and immediately started complaining about how pointless our sessions were. That's when he said it. This is stupid. I don't even want to go to college. Dad's just forcing me because he never got to go. I looked at his dad's face and saw years of exhaustion, sacrifice, and hope crumbling in real time. That's when I got mad. You know what your dad told me last week? That he's been skipping lunch every day to save money for your tutoring. Dylan rolled his eyes. Whatever. He's being dramatic. I pulled out my phone and showed him a text his dad had sent me. Can we do 1 extra session this week? I picked up overtime and want Dylan to have every chance possible. Your dad is 45 years old, working 70-hour weeks, destroying his body so you don't have to. And you can't even stay off TikTok for 1 hour. I packed up my stuff. Find a new tutor. I'm not taking another dollar from a man who deserves better than you. Dylan's dad got his money back. Dylan failed his SATs.